Hello Internet, this is your daily dose of data science. Today we are going to be working with random samples of your data from a pandas data frame. So let's create the data frame. We are going to use pandas, import pandas, and we shall have a scenario where we are going to use random. So let's create our data frame. Our data frame is going to be, so this is just a sample data frame that we're going to use to do sampling. Pandas data frame, then we are going to create the data frame from a dictionary, and the dictionary, let's assume that we're going to create from animals. So number of legs should be a list, then number of wings should be a list, then the quantity of specimen seen, so let's just say sample space, this number of legs, let's assume it's 2, 4, 8 and 0. Then number of wings 2, 0, 0, 0. Not so many animals have wings. Then number of specimen or the sample space 10 to 1, 0. Let me just call this number of specimens. Number of specimen. Yeah, so this will create for us a data frame. We can do data frame.head, and this is the data frame. This data frame does not have the name, so let's make the index here being the names of the specimen. So we're going to have index, and our specimen are going to be equal to, this is going to be a list 2, falcon, then there should be a dog. A dog does not have wings. Then we should have a spider, and a fish. Okay, so let's run this on that. Voila, so we have this as our data frame. The first task may be to randomly get data from a certain column. Let's say the number of legs. You want to randomly sample let's say three items from here and returning to your list. So the first thing that you may be tempted to do, and that's why I've put random here, is to generate a list from this. This is data frame, get the number of legs, that then you do list. So this gives you list, then you do random dot sample, and you want to sample 3 items from that list, or 2 if you want to change 2. So this is a way most people would want to sample a column, but what I usually say is that if there is a function within your class or your data frame that is developed for you, it's most likely that that function is more optimized or well optimized than the function that you're creating. So the one that that pandas has, it's called sample. So we could just do data frame, number of legs, then you do dot sample, and the number that you want equals to 3, and this gives you 3 items with their indexes or their names. If your task was just to return a list, then you do dot to list, and this would give you the same item. So if you wanted to return 2, then this is going to be 2. Yep. But with these tasks, mostly when you're doing data science, you want to be able to reproduce your results. That means that you'd want to have a sample with a particular random state. So you can have, let's take number of wings, data frame, then we pick number of wings, then dot sample, n equals to 2, then random state, equal to 1. So every time you run this, it will always return fish and spider, but if you run this, the values will be changing. So you're seeing that this is constant, but here also this, the values might be changing, the first two, because we don't have a random state here. We don't have a random state here, but here we have a random state. That means that you can always reproduce your result. If we change this to 2, see it has changed. If we change this to 3, it will always change, and when you go back to 1, it brings us back to 1. So this is the argument that helps you to make sure that your experiment is reproducible. Then there is another argument into sample that helps you. So here we have the number of sample that you're picking equals to 2, but if you want to pick a fraction of the sample, then you will need to use a fraction instead of n. You cannot use n and fraction at the same time, so you're going to have here fraction, and let's say half. So you need to have half of the data frame, and that is what it will give you, half. We could try 0.75, that would be 3, and it gives you 3 randomly sampled items. Then the last bit that we can use instead would be the weight. The weight helps you give a higher chance of picking items from your sample, and then lower chance from picking other items. So I'm going to have my data frame dot sample. So I want to sample from the whole data frame, and I want to sample only 2 items, and the weight. So this weight here, I want it to use the weights which is based on the number of specimen. So this will mean that there is a very high chance of picking falcon, and there is a very low chance of picking fish. So that is how it's going to be distributed. Then we are also going to make sure this experiment is reproducible. So we're going to use random state. Yep. So this is how you randomly sample data from pandas data frame. Till tomorrow, don't forget to subscribe, learn something, and teach someone.